Hey, this is Ian. I'm the head pro at EssentialTennis.com, where it's our mission to bring passionate instruction to passionate tennis players just like you. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at some amateur footage and also some professional footage of serve technique. And we're going to be talking about one of the biggest technique mistakes that amateur tennis players make, which robs them of accuracy, reliability, and consistency. So if those are things that you'd like more of in your own serve, pay close attention to what we're about to look at. And we're first going to take a look at Jay, who is a tennis player who's passionate about improving his game. That's why he's got the video camera out. And we'll take a look at his serve in full motion a couple times before we go frame by frame. And what I want you to look at in particular is Jay's tossing hand as he hits this last serve here in full motion. If you've got a keen eye, you probably notice that Jay's tossing motion is very tight and tense and kind of abrupt. His tossing hand comes up and then very quickly kind of stops its momentum. And as a result, his tossing motion is jerky, which probably means his toss is going to be somewhat erratic. But we're actually going to go a couple steps deeper than that, and you're going to see why it's even more problematic than just that. As Jay's service motion continues, and he gets into his trophy pose after he releases the toss, you'll see that his upper body is very level. He's angled a little bit upwards towards the ball, but he's very close to horizontal to the court surface. And the reason why that's a problem is now his body is directly in line with his target, more or less. He's a little bit angled, but very, very little. So that means that his delivery of his swing is going to be very direct towards his target. And the problem with that is when you swing directly at your target with your serve, or any ground stroke for that matter, if you're just a little bit too low, you end up hitting the nets. And if you're just a little bit too high, the ball ends up overshooting your target and you miss past the service box. So the solution to that is to be more vertically aligned with your upper body. So again, here's Jay. Here's how Jay is aligned. And now we're going to take a look at American tennis professional Tim Smyczek. You may remember he made a big run at the US Open last year. And I want you to watch his tossing arm as he starts to line up into his trophy pose. His arm continues going upwards vertically, and it actually doesn't even stop here. Watch as I continue, and he actually bows the front edge of his body to where he's actually leaning back away from his target, and his tossing arm is now angled back away from the baseline. Now, this is a very advanced position here. This takes a lot of strength, it takes a lot of stability, it takes a lot of athleticism. So let me be clear. I'm not saying that this is what you should be trying to copy 100% and actually mimic what Tim is doing. But on the other hand, we can absolutely bridge the gap between what we saw Jay doing, which is very common. In fact, I see when I go to my local courts, either at a club or a park, I see a lot of players dead horizontal. Jay was actually angled upwards a little bit, which is, better than horizontal, but he obviously has a ways further to go. Tim, as a professional athlete, as a professional player, is on the other end of the spectrum. And the benefit that this gives you is it gives you a vertical attack up towards the ball, which allows you to hit a serve that has much more margin for error. It now has some shape to it, as opposed to lining up straight and hitting straight and having a very, very narrow window for success. So again, going back to Jay, here's Jay's setup. After the toss, here's the release of his toss right here. And then this is about the most vertical he gets to is about here. And then Tim releasing right here. And then ultimately getting all the way to here. So now you know visually what you should be trying to accomplish, or at least somewhere in between where Jay is and Tim is. If you'd like some step-by-step guidance and instruction on how you can achieve this, how you can do it appropriately for the amateur player, we've got some information right down below this video. We have our special course, Serve Mechanic, which is open for just a couple of days right now, and we'll be closing it to the public again pretty soon. Check out details down below. Not only will I show you step-by-step how to fix this problem, which is incredibly common among amateur players on the serve, but it also fixes 5 other of the most common technique flaws that tennis players all around the world have. So check it out, and hopefully you'll join me inside.